What's up, internet? This is Tahmid speaking, Double T Gang. Welcome back to another video featuring the best of Scarborough. Today I'll be showing you 3 amazing parks in the Scarbs that you can visit if you live in the area or you're just visiting. Now with the Rona, you're probably taking a risk, and some of these parks have parking issues and it's a legit battle to get a spot. But it's totally worth it if you can make the time and check them out. So without further ado, let's get right into this amazing episode. The first park I want to talk about is Rosetta Garden, or as we call it in the hood, Rosetta Gardens. Now Google Maps calls this a picturesque locale with rose gardens, a rock fountain, a pergola, whatever that is, and views of Lake Ontario. Wowzers! Now, like most people, if you don't know what the heck a pergola is, well, a pergola is an outdoor garden featuring forming a shaded walkway, passageway, or sitting area of vertical posts or pillars that usually support cross beams and a sturdy open lattice, often with wood which vines are trained. The origin of the word is the late Latin pergola, referring to a projecting eave. Whew! Wow! Beautiful. Thank you, Wikipedia. Well, now you know. Other people might call it a gazebo or other such terms. But you know, Rosetta Gardens is packed with features. It has a beautiful stone mini waterfall right in the center, with the pergola not too far away, as we talked about earlier, where you can catch the shade on a hot summer day in Scarborough. Moreover, there are indeed some beautiful views of Lake Ontario. Google was not lying. This is because the garden is elevated above some of the lower trails in the infamous Bluffs area that you might already be familiar with, such as the Scarborough Bluffers Beach and the Scarborough Bluffers Park, which you may have visited before. The great thing about Rosetta Gardens is that you're getting the top view, and the views are breathtaking, as you can see in some of the footage provided here. This place is also a sort of IG pic-taking haven because it's maintained so nicely, and as far as I know, it's maintained all year around by the hardworking city staff. There are roses, there are tulips, and all these species of flowers, some of them super rare from what I've heard, but you gotta double check that. I've also heard that this is a great spot for bird watchers, although I know nothing about that myself. I did really notice the squirrels, and this one time I seen an entire family of raccoon just parading outside the garden fence doing whatever Toronto raccoons do. I also read somewhere that the park is a sanctuary for some butterfly species, so you might want to check that out if that's what you're into. You might be wondering how to get there then. The official address is 5 Glen Everest Road. It's right off the Kingston, or Highway 2 as some people call it, a bit southeast from Danforth Avenue and Birchmount Road. Just a tip, the parking is limited, so it might make sense to avoid peak hours. Also, if you go there when there's less people, that means less people to photobomb your IG photos, am I right? Like, honestly, it's legit one of the best spot for your profile pics in all of Toronto, and one of the best maintained gardens in the entire city. Alrighty, let's move on to our second pick, Port Union Waterfront Park. It's also one of the best city parks you can go to, no doubt. Relatively nicely maintained, but not like Rosetta Gardens level of nice, you feel? The city claims that this waterfront park sits on about 13 hectares of green space, and a quick look at the map shows it's also connected to some other dope parks and trails. I think the park's got a good vibe, I feel like, at least. It's family friendly, offers a little something for everybody, regardless of age and interests. Right after you get off the parking lot, there's a big kiddie park with little people running around and screaming all over the place. For those of you that want some peace and tranquility, if you just walk inside a little bit, you find a beautiful long stretch of waterfront trail. Now you can bike or walk or jog or whatever the trail as people do, and you'll notice on the side there's a GO train line track, which sometimes brings interruption as you're walking along the beautiful sandy rocky beaches or the forested areas in other parts. Take a deep breath, inhale, take it all in. Part of the trails has been nicely built up with seating areas. There are large rocks in most of the places which you can just sit on, take a breather, think about your life and choices. Or you can go bare feet and walk on the sandy beaches of Lake Ontario, which honestly looks like an ocean if no one told you otherwise. Along the way, make sure to catch breathtaking views of the east and west, everywhere from the Pickering nuclear plant to downtown Toronto and the iconic CN Tower. There are also some cool features that other Toronto parks might not have that Port Union does, particularly a cool graffiti tunnel which makes your voice echo like crazy. Trust me, I know, tried and tested it myself. Don't recommend it if you don't want people to think that you're a hooligan. Last point, this trail has more than enough kilometers to take your cycle for a spin, as many people are doing during the pandemic. It's really becoming like a popular hobby from what I'm seeing. So the official location of this beautiful waterfront park is at 169 Chesterton Shores. It's right near Lawrence Avenue East and Port Union Road. Just drive down a little south. It has ample parking spots except for peak summer days where you'll be forced to park on the roadsides. Alright, number 3, last but not least, is Colonel Danforth Park. Now this park is for real slept on, and it's cheating because it's like 2 parks combined into one with a direct connection to Highland Creeks, which stretches all the way down south to the waterfront, making it just one gigantic park packed with goodies. But for the purpose of this video, we'll pretend Colonel Danforth and Highland Creeks are just one big mega park, and together they create some of the largest urban green space and trails in all of Toronto. Given its vastness, you'll come across all types of wildlife and landforms, from ravines to creeks to forest or whatever else. And I believe if you walk on the largest trail, it's about a whole 13 kilometers long. That's a lot of kilometers. And there are also smaller connecting trails. In fact, the city of Toronto directly labels the park as a good spot for spotting wildlife. You can probably run into deers, otter, herons, or the likes. Also, a very cool special feature is the annual salmon run that happens up the Highland Creeks that people, including international tourists, come to see. Just imagine being able to see a salmon run inside a massive city. That's just wild, no pun intended. Moreover, the parking lot, there is enough parking spots, so that's a plus. And also there are gazebos and family and friend outing areas for eating your picnic food or whatever before you get all bloated and actually walk the trail to, shed some of those gains. Also, as you're walking, you're reminded that you are walking trails and green space inside a bustling city with rusting bridges and still functional train lines along the way, giving it a whole different mixed vibe. For real, there are lots of great changes of sceneries along the way that meshes with the wildlife and signs of human civilization. It all makes for a fantastic and entertaining walk, jog, run, bike, or whatever it is that you're doing. It is, for a fact, the longest trail in Scarborough that you can access in one go, making it a perfect spot for physical exercise. The official pinned location is 73 Colonel Danforth Road. It's a little bit inside-ish, so make sure to check that Google Maps or Waze or whatever. I have personally driven by the area for years without knowing there was a massive park right there on the side. It is a hidden inside area near the Highway 2 and Kingston Road ramp that takes you to the Highway 401 or Port Union Road split towards Pickering and the Durham region. You just have to turn into the side a little bit into this wild area. You'll get it when you look at the map. Just an Ending note, all these spots are somewhat accessible by public transit like the TTC. It's the infamous Toronto Transit Commission, but it is a hassle and there's often a lot of walking required after taking the buses and trains from wherever you are coming from. They are more out of the way and easier to get to in a car. But then again, consult the map to see how to transit there. Thank you everyone for watching. I really appreciate the views, the subscribe, likes and comments, which I try to read all of them and try to reply as well. Keep it up and see you on the next video. This is Tahmid signing out. Peace.